Something is hidden beneath Mars's red surface. Not just hot magma, but maybe something more. Strange signs of shaking and heat make us wonder, could there be alien life deep inside Mars? The secrets under Cerberus Fossae might help us solve one of Mars' biggest mysteries. Mars wasn't the quiet neighbor we see now. It was a volcanic powerhouse, spitting fire and molten rock like it was trying to outdo Earth. During this fiery era, Mars built Olympus Mons, a volcanic beast that towers nearly 3 times higher than Mount Everest. It's the tallest volcano in the whole solar system, but beneath its towering peak lies a chilling secret, one that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about Mars. But here's the thing, most of that volcanic action was thought to be ancient history, wrapped up about 3 billion years ago. Sure, some scientists guess there might have been a few hiccups, minor eruptions, maybe 3 million years ago. But even that was considered a stretch. Mars doesn't even have a global magnetic field, which is usually a big giveaway for an active interior. Without one, it made sense to think Mars had gone cold and quiet long ago. No heat, no molten rock, no volcanic drama. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast. In 2018, NASA decided to dig deeper, literally. They sent the InSight lander to Mars, a machine loaded with high-tech seismic gear to listen for shakes and rumbles. It didn't take long to get results. Just 235 Martian days later, InSight had already picked up 174 Marsquakes. That's right, earthquakes, but on Mars. And it didn't stop there. By 2022, the count shot up to over 1,300 quakes. That's a whole lot of shaking for a planet that was supposed to be asleep. Researchers started looking closer at where these quakes were coming from, and the results were pretty wild. They found a cluster of 20 quakes that didn't just pop up randomly. Most of Mars's surface seemed pretty chill, with faults and cracks that weren't budging. But this particular group of quakes kept pointing to one place, Cerberus Fossae. This area is covered in fissures and fractures, like the planet's crust split open here and couldn't quite seal itself back up. And these cracks aren't just for show. They seem to be linked to some serious underground activity. Scientists think magma, yep, liquid rock, might still be lurking beneath the surface, stirring things up and causing those quakes. What's even crazier is that some of the seismic waves detected in Cerberus Fossae hinted at molten rock moving around. That means Mars might not just have leftover heat. It could still have pockets of magma, making it partially alive, geologically speaking. Why does this matter? For starters, it forces us to rethink how planets cool down and die out. Earth's still active because of its molten core, but Mars was supposed to have lost its heat ages ago. If it hasn't, then maybe other planets or even moons could surprise us too. But there's an even bigger twist: life. Wherever there's heat and energy, there's potential for life, or at least the ingredients for it. On Earth, life has a way of popping up in extreme places, deep under the ocean, near volcanic vents, and even inside rocks. Could Mars have similar hiding spots? The presence of heat and water below the surface could mean tiny organisms, microbes, might still be clinging to life. Or maybe they lived there billions of years ago, leaving behind traces we just haven't found yet. Either way, these quakes could be shaking loose some big discoveries. And let's not forget the human angle. If we ever want to set up camp on Mars, knowing what's happening underground is crucial. Nobody wants their Martian base rattled by surprise quakes or built on top of a hidden magma chamber. NASA's InSight mission may have started as a geology project, but it's quickly turned into something much bigger. Mars isn't just a dusty relic of the past. It's alive, or at least waking up, and it might be hiding more secrets than we ever imagined. What makes this area even more eyebrow-raising is how the planet's underground is throwing tantrums. Deep down, the seismic waves are rumbling at low frequencies, but closer to the surface, the quakes get sharper and more high-pitched. And guess what? All this shaking is happening around an area called Cerberus Fossae, the Martian equivalent of a tectonic hotspot. When scientists poked through the data scooped up by InSight, Mars' very own earthquake detector, they pieced together something wild. Those low-frequency rumbles, they're likely coming from molten magma bubbling away about 30 to 50 kilometers below the surface. That's right, Mars might still have pockets of lava sloshing around, like it's at a never-ending underground rave. When researchers matched this seismic data with orbital snapshots of Cerberus Fossae, they spotted something suspiciously fresh, a feature marked as a volcanic fissure. Around it, darker, dustier deposits scattered in every direction, like nature's way of saying, yep, this place has seen some action. And by action, we're talking eruptions that could have blown their tops within the last 50,000 years, practically yesterday in geological time. Mars' surface shows signs of eruptions and heat below. What else could it be hiding? The darker color of the dust isn't just for show. It's a clue that Mars' surface hasn't been sitting still for too long. Instead, it's been constantly reshaped by geological activity. And let's be honest, this kind of behavior suggests the planet might not be as dead as we once thought. In fact, it's probably still simmering under the surface, quietly preparing for its next move. So what does all this mean? Simply put, Mars is still very much alive, at least geologically speaking. The graben zones, the sinking crust, the fissures oozing magma, they all scream one thing: Mars hasn't clocked out. Instead, it's just waiting for the next big shakeup to remind us it's still in the game. For the curious minds wondering why this matters, here's the deal. If Mars is still geologically active, it means there could be heat sources and even liquid water lurking underground. That's a pretty big deal if we're ever going to set up shop there, or better yet, find evidence of past or present life. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to discover aliens hanging out beneath Martian lava tubes? Christmas Eve, 2021. While most of us were stuffing our faces with holiday treats, Mars got a surprise gift, straight from space. A meteor slammed into its surface so hard that NASA's InSight lander couldn't help but take notice. The ground shook, and for a while, scientists scratched their heads, wondering what caused the commotion. Fast forward a bit, and NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter spotted something fresh. A crater that practically screamed, "I wasn't here before." And it wasn't just any crater. We're talking about a beast nearly 500 feet across, 10 times bigger than what scientists usually expect to see when Mars gets pelted. But wait, it gets juicier. Around this massive dent in the ground were chunks of water ice, yes, actual ice, that likely got blasted out from below the surface when the meteor hit. Let that sink in. Mars, the dusty desert of the solar system, might still be hiding icy secrets just below its rusty surface. There could still be liquid water lurking underground. Not puddles, mind you, but possibly entire lakes sealed off from the harsh surface. And where there's water, there's a chance, no matter how slim, that life might be hanging on. If that's true, something needs to keep those hidden waters warm enough to stay liquid. Enter magma. Magma, that bubbling molten rock buried deep below the crust, could be the perfect heat source. And guess what? The region called Cerberus Fossae has been serving up some of the most intriguing Mars quake signals. It's like Mars is dropping hints. Something's cooking down there, and it's worth paying attention to. Imagine a planet where the ground is always lava, literally. These are magma ocean planets, and they stay molten because they're so close to their stars that the heat never lets them cool off. Think of it as being stuck in a never-ending volcanic eruption. Take K2141b as an example. It orbits its star so closely that its surface hits around 3,000 degrees Celsius. hot enough to melt rock into gas. On the other side of the planet, though, it's a freezer, dropping to -200 degrees Celsius. This temperature difference causes insane winds that carry vaporized rock around the planet. That vapor cools down and falls back as rock rain. Yep, it rains rocks there. Another wild example is Coro T7b. This one zips around its star in less than a day. It's so hot that it might have a thin atmosphere made entirely of rock vapor. As that vapor cools, it could form mineral clouds and even rock rain, just like K2141b. These planets show how extreme heat can keep a world molten, acting like a time capsule for what Earth may have looked like billions of years ago. Scientists are eagerly anticipating advancements in interstellar travel technologies. Concepts such as laser-propelled spacecraft, capable of reaching Proxima Centauri in a matter of decades, are transitioning from theoretical ideas to viable projects. Initiatives like Breakthrough Starshot aim to deploy miniature probes equipped with high-resolution cameras and environmental sensors to gather direct data from planets like this one. Such missions, though years away, hold the promise of revolutionizing our understanding of distant worlds. Meanwhile, the James Webb Space Telescope continues to operate at the forefront of this quest. Its ability to detect subtle changes in the planet's light spectrum enables the identification of potential chemical markers indicative of life. The precision required for this analysis underscores the extraordinary capabilities of modern astronomical instruments, which can distinguish between naturally occurring compounds and those that might signal industrial activity. The discovery of lights on the dark side is emblematic of a new era in astronomy. As we refine our tools and expand our observational reach, the prospect of encountering extraterrestrial civilizations becomes more tangible. Each discovery builds upon the last, creating a cumulative body of evidence that fuels the imagination and drives scientific inquiry forward. Whether these lights are ultimately attributed to natural processes or the activities of intelligent beings, their study will undoubtedly deepen our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Humanity has always been nosy about what lies beyond our tiny blue bubble. From sketching stars on cave walls to launching gadgets into space, our curiosity knows no bounds. And now, with the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST for those who prefer snappy acronyms, we've leveled up. This marvel of human tinkering isn't just peeking at stars. It's rewriting the rulebook of space exploration. Big time. Exoplanets are the new obsession, and for good reason. Scientists have already clocked thousands of these distant orbs, some hanging out in the Goldilocks zone where temperatures are just right for liquid water. Water is the holy grail here. It's the baseline for life as we know it. But don't get too excited yet. Just because a planet's in the sweet spot doesn't mean it's ready to host a backyard barbecue. To know for sure, we need to dig deeper, and that's where the JWST's magic really kicks in. Take, for instance, the detection of water vapor on a planet. Let's call it GJ something or other. Sure, this particular planet might be a no-go for life, but spotting water vapor proves JWST's chops. It's like finding breadcrumbs on a trail. Maybe the next planet will lead us to the loaf. This isn't just nerdy science stuff. It's hope wrapped in data, showing us Earth's conditions might not be a cosmic fluke. Then there's the jaw-dropper. JWST can take actual pictures of exoplanets. For years, stars have hogged the spotlight, their blinding light hiding any planets nearby. But JWST knows how to dim the lights just right, making planets pop into view. These images are gold mines of info. Size, temperature, atmosphere, you name it. Remember HIP something something b, a gas giant a few hundred light years away. It's not life-friendly, but snapping its picture was like landing on a high-score leaderboard. Every win like this gets us closer to finding a rocky, Earth-like twin. Earth is a hot mess. Climate issues, crowded cities, running low on resources, you name it. The idea of packing up and heading to a new planet sounds far-fetched, But with JWST paving the way, it's not entirely off the table. By mapping planets with stable atmospheres and decent temperatures, we're crafting a blueprint for humanity's Plan B. But let's keep it real. Finding a planet that checks all the boxes is like hunting for a needle in a haystack, on fire. Even when a planet looks promising, it could be hiding nasty surprises. Toxic gases? Check. Deadly radiation? Double check. That's where JWST's data flexes its muscles, helping scientists weed out the duds from the gems. It's the cosmic version of swiping left or right. And then there's the ultimate jackpot, alien life. Even if it's just microscopic critters or atmospheric biosignatures, the discovery would flip our understanding of existence on its head. JWST's sensors are sharp enough to pick up on the chemical giveaways of life, like oxygen and methane playing nice together. In a wild scenario, we might even spot techno-signatures, signals or pollutants. Fast forward to February 2021, and NASA decided to go all out. Enter Perseverance, a high-tech rover, and its sidekick Ingenuity, a tiny helicopter. Perseverance was designed to look for signs of ancient life, microscopic critters that may have hung out in Martian lakes a few billion years ago. It landed in Jezero crater, which scientists think was a lakebed back when Mars was wetter and friendlier. Meanwhile, Ingenuity made history as the first helicopter to fly on another planet. It zipped around, proving that flying machines might actually work in Mars's thin air. Big win. Before Perseverance stole the spotlight, Curiosity was the star. It landed on August 2012 and has been roaming Mars ever since. Its job? Sniff out whether Mars could have ever supported life. Over a decade later, it's still rolling, despite its wheels looking pretty banged up. Curiosity has found signs of old riverbeds, organic molecules and weird methane spikes, which could mean something biological is happening or not. Either way, it's been one heck of a detective. Not all missions involve landing. Maven has been orbiting Mars since 2014, studying its atmosphere. Why? Because Mars used to have a thick, cozy atmosphere that trapped heat and let water flow. Now it's a dry, freezing desert. Maven found out that solar wind likely stripped away most of the atmosphere, leaving the planet exposed and barren. Basically, Mars got ghosted by its own environment. Then there's the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MRO, which has been circling Mars since 2006. Its cameras are so powerful they can spot a rover from orbit, and it's been mapping the surface in insane detail. Thanks to MRO, we've seen towering volcanoes, massive canyons, and even seasonal water flows. Yep, liquid water might still be there, just underground or mixed with salty dirt. The search for Martian life hasn't slowed down. On July 2024, Perseverance stumbled upon an odd, arrow-shaped rock called Chayava Falls. Scientists found organic compounds inside it, hinting that life might have existed when Mars was wetter. But it's tricky. These compounds could also be made without life. So the debate's still open. Meanwhile, data from InSight hinted at liquid water deep under Mars's surface, buried about 7 to 12 miles down. It's way too deep for today's robots. But if life exists anywhere, that's a solid place to look. Exploring Mars hasn't been smooth sailing. In the 1990s, NASA lost the Mars Climate Orbiter because someone mixed up metric and imperial measurements. Oops. These blunders taught scientists to double-check everything and highlighted how tricky interplanetary missions really are. Living on Mars won't be easy either. NASA has already run tests on Earth, locking volunteers in fake habitats for over a year to see how they'd handle isolation and boredom. Turns out, keeping humans sane and healthy on Mars is just as big a challenge as getting them there. The Mars adventure isn't slowing down. NASA's planning a new mission called Escapade for 2025 to study the planet's magnetic field and how it interacts with solar wind. There's also the Mars Sample Return Project, a team-up with the European Space Agency. It's designed to bring Martian rocks and dirt back to Earth so scientists can study them up close. Imagine the chaos if they find something alive, or something stranger. Exploring Mars isn't just about science, it's about human curiosity and our need to push boundaries. Each mission proves we're not afraid to dream big and take risks, even if it means sending robots to another planet and hoping for the best. And who knows? The next chapter might be humans setting foot on the red planet, turning science fiction into reality. Mars might be hiding life beneath its crust. Are we ready for what we might find? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.